All right, well, it is 11:02, so let's go ahead and get moving here. I think we're going to be lickety split today. So I did send out the recording to everybody, and I sent out the notes from our end of conference meeting, committee meeting, to just a select few. I didn't send them out to everybody, but I sent them out to the incoming leadership of this group, or the current leadership of this group. And there wasn't anything surprising on that list, realistically. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a, if I can, looks like I can. Just so everybody can just kind of see this. This is what the notes were from the ambassador committee meeting at the end of conference.
Still love that first quote.
I know, you're the happy people.
I want to be in that group for the rest of my life. You know,
So
I want to be the happy people.
So truthfully, Sarah, that is a quote to use on our marketing. Is we're the happy people.
Absolutely.
Definitely. We're the happy people with the blue armbands. That's how you know who we are. So these are some of the things that were recommendations, you know, notifying first timers, having a tour of the facility. We talked about that last year. Didn't really happen this year for last year. That's something we've already talked about for this year coming up. Oh, will you jinx me?
I'm sorry.
My sneeze went away. Okay. Block of rooms for the ambassadors or early access to hotel rooms. You know, I think that was just if we could have things that were incentives, but when we open hotel rooms, we have no idea who the ambassadors are. So,
and we have 3 hotels this year.
Well, yeah. So could that be, interesting question, could that be an incentive for the next year's conference?
Well, I mean, the hotels open early. Like, it's not.
Well, I know. I'm thinking it through of like, if it keeps coming up, I mean, we could totally ignore it. But if it's something that comes up again in the future of other incentives, and if a hotel is really a thing, especially if we get into facilities where there's like a headquarter hotel and a non-headquarter hotel. We would never be able to say, if you're an ambassador this year, you get to stay at the headquarter hotel. We never know who those people are until a month or two prior to conference, and hotel opens up 6 months prior to conference. But it could be that it could be an incentive for the upcoming year, like the future year. Like, you serve this year, you get a bonus next year.
Logistically, is that feasible?
I don't know. It could be hard.
So, I mean, the idea is not hard. I mean, it's not difficult. Like, you know, we hold X number of rooms for board members, right? And so, I mean, within our block, and this year would be hard because, like you said, we do have 3 different hotels, but those times when we have like one main hotel, we'd have to work with Danielle and Elizabeth, but I don't think it's off the table, because let's say we know we're going to have 20 ambassadors. The logistic part would be, if we're saving these rooms up front, because we know we're going to have, I'm just using 20, we need 20 rooms. We can save those kind of outside of what's available in the block to the general membership when they're signing up for hotel rooms. But if you are an ambassador and you don't know yet you're an ambassador, and so you and Kate go ahead and get a room together, and you take up one of the rooms in the regular block, and then Jessica, you're chosen, but Kate's not chosen to be an ambassador. I mean, we could release one of those rooms, but that's where the logistics get a little right. Wonky. I mean, again, we could say, you know, a number of rooms have been set aside within the block for ambassadors to utilize if needed. So that if you become an ambassador after we already, have had the rooms open for a while, I mean, that's a possibility, but we always run into an issue with our room block anyway, with people, going ahead and reserving and taking up all this space. And then they wind up canceling just a few weeks before annual session. And then we have to worry about attrition. So I don't think it would be ideal, but I wouldn't say it's off the table. It would just have to be coordinated with Elizabeth, our conference planner, and Danielle as executive director to kind of figure out like how many we could set aside, what would be feasible for the organization before we go into any kind of monetary issue.
Just, I was throwing it out there, but I agree there could be a lot of adventures with that. Group texting, I think, is still something that we need to keep on the table to be able to communicate with them. This year, I don't think we had to do a lot of that, but I think as we start using them more, there will definitely be something to do with these people that we would be able to communicate with them more frequently. Definitely include in the president's message so that we see them, we have them recognized more and more. Doing something about scoring poster sessions. That was an idea, and I think that was more of like a people's choice kind of an idea. So not like scoring them to be who gets selected to attend, but like when they are put up, scoring them on site.
You want me to address that one, Kate?
Yeah.
So the idea for the scoring posters would be so that we could say, not only did I bring a poster to NEAFCS, but I was selected as first, second, or third. And so it was a way to increase the, I don't know what word I want. Words are hard on that.
Makes it competitive.
Yeah, to make it more competitive, and to make it so that it adds to what we could, the poster, more than just I'm going to come bring a poster, but I brought a poster and I won. And there are different universities already do this at like the different local levels, and so there's some rubrics out there. Not something we do at ours, but I've talked to others who have done it. So it was just something that was like, hey, this would be, what group could do it? Well, potentially this group. It doesn't have to be this year, but it's an idea.
And I love that. I mean, that might be something to bring up with Sam too. We'd also not be putting it on the awards committee or professional development committee. I mean, if they would want to write like a, what do you call that? Like something to judge it for, like if they want to go that far. Rubric, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. Then go back to the ambassadors. Again, it wouldn't be a lot of work on their part.
Yeah, I like that idea. It just gives them a little more report fodder for the people who have displayed the posters. They've done all that work. Yes, my poster was accepted. And like you said, Jessica, while I was there, I was awarded 1, 2, 3 or whatever. And it's easy for us. We're going to be looking at the posters anyway. I think I like the idea.
So if we wanted to pursue that, would that be something that
Does that have to go before the board?
That's a good question.
I'm going to say the answer is yes, it should be brought to the board. Kate could bring it. I'm not Kate. Sorry. Lisa, sorry guys. My brain, I'm sorry. I am on cold medicine, so please forgive me.
Okay, wants to bring it to the board, she sure can.
But yeah, Lisa, I think you could bring that up at the next board meeting just to say, hey, this is something the committee has put forward. Because I know that the judging and scoring of poster sessions is something that's been tossed around for a few years now. And just like you laid out the reasons why, it's an added bonus to the people who are doing the posters. It's also another thing that the ambassadors can be doing and be seen doing and be known to do, like it be one of the things that they're known to do. They're just, you'd have to come up with like, if it's gonna be first, second, third, if it's gonna be something like best in show, or, how you're gonna do that, what sort of rubric, like you said. But I would bring it to the board to get their approval on it, especially that way the VP for professional development can, weigh in with any thoughts that she might have. But yeah, because I think this would definitely be I would lean more toward professional development for this than awards, because this isn't like an application process like our awards. It's still recognition, but it's it's more of a recognition for the professional development folks.
So I just did a really quick Google search. This one's for undergrad research, but I'm going to put this in the chat just as an example of, they have the rubric and then the score sheet, and yeah, just as an idea.
Cool. Okay, so that would be something that we could add then to the ambassadors. Like, I wouldn't say it's not application, but like the ambassadors, what you would do thing.
Like job description, but
Right.
it's not a job, but yeah.
And it probably wouldn't be all the ambassadors doing it, but we could get certain, a certain subset of them to sign up on the days of poster sessions to sign up so that you are going to go judge poster sessions. That's their role that day. Okay. We also had what things to add to the early bird registration information to not only register for annual session and make your travel plans, but apply to the ambassadors, kind of like slide it in there so we get more applications. There were some questions about how can ambassadors support Will, Danielle, and Elizabeth more? Could we have people being runners for them at the front desk? This was also brought up at last month's meeting. So Will, you and Danielle and Elizabeth, if you even brainstorm this, are there things that we can do for you? I know there are things sometimes that are technical or confidential things that we can't do for you, but if there are things that are just run this to this room, run this to that room, we can do that.
I was about to say that I think that is very helpful. There's always, a million things to be dropped off or picked up, or things like stepping in to do an announcement over the intercom in the exhibit hall for some reason, things that come up last minute. I'll talk to Danielle and Elizabeth about it, but I definitely think there'd be some opportunities there. Obviously, some of the times we're too busy to have an ambassador because, again, we don't want people to miss the actual annual session, but when available, because sometimes we'll ask folks who are volunteering at the registration desk to do some things, but having an ambassador, I think, would kind of elevate that. Again, we'd be giving you a key to go to another room or things like that, and I think that's something that would definitely fit with the ambassador brand.
Yeah. We already talked about the touring that was listed above. And then make sure the ambassadors have the number for tech services. So if they are doing intros of sessions, make sure they have, how to get in contact with whoever is doing the tech, so that they can troubleshoot that, and the training video. So sending out a week additional prior to conference as a refresher. So there's, we make sure that they have watched it once to confirm they've finished their training to be ambassador, but if they have the chance to watch it again, it's a refresher for everything that they are being asked to do at conference. So I think those are all of our notes. Yeah, that's everything we had. So nothing was rocket science there, which is great. And then our all right, so let's do the only things that are on the, make this nice and big so we all can see it. We did all the February stuff. The only thing that was on the action plan for March-ish time would be pretty much 7, 8, and 9. We did everything else up to there. So the pre-conference Zoom training, which is number 6, I do still need to work on that, just skim through that and see what we need to update. But we need to set. Will, did we set the date for that? I don't think we did.
For the training,
Yes.
I kind of thought we did. Hold on just a second. Let me take a look in August. Because oops. I wanted to say we had, but it is not on my calendar. Let me check my Zoom real quick and make sure I don't have it scheduled already. I think I just have the committees.
Oh, wait, no. I have August 16th. 3 o'clock.
Do we?
Well, I don't have an actual Zoom link for it, but I do have it tentatively on my calendar on August 16th.
Okay. If you want to keep it August 16th, I have the availability for that. If you would just send me an email requesting it so I don't lose track of it. I've got another Zoom to set up for a life member meeting. So send me that and I'll set up our training Zoom at the same time. Go ahead and get it on the calendar. And that way we can include it in the messaging we want to send for 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Or sorry, 7, 8, 9.
All right, cool. So 7 and 8 are pretty much the exact same thing, just through affiliate presidents and regional directors. And Sarah, I'm guessing that you have what we used last year.
I do. I have the Word document pulled up that we sent to presidents last year. Do you want me to just email it to everyone after and you can provide edits after the meeting, or do you want to discuss it now?
Let me just do a stop share and we can pull it up and take a look at it and just get it.
Okay.
There, I just changed it. You should be able to share now. Sorry about that.
Got it. Thank you. Let's see. I'm working on one screen today and it's I'm used to 2, so not sure if I can figure this out today. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, do you see?
Yep, there we go.
Okay, so this was sent out in April last year to affiliate presidents. And so this is when we asked them to start thinking of 1 or 2 in the state that they would like to nominate. Do we want to do that still this year? Or just have them self-nominate? Or, or just ask them to help spread the word.
Yeah, we could ask them to encourage people to apply, or people that they feel would be good at it.
I'm always scared of bias. Something like if they have, I know we've talked about that at other meetings too, where if you have a president who only selects the exact same people every time, that.
But we didn't have a huge number who had, who received information from them.
I think it would be good to get the word out to them, like you said, to have them ready to encourage. Right now we're still having some email issues. So encouraging the presidents to send it out through their own contact lists, to share it with all of their membership is a good idea. Now, by the end of March, we're supposed to be switching over email servers, and we're hoping that's going to fix the problem with member clicks. And so that being the case, then of course, at the end of March, when we send the full email, hopefully it will reach any members who had not yet heard of it from their affiliates, but with the goal that they would have already known, hey, start looking, check the website around this time for the application to be open. And again, like the letter says, the deadline is going to be X. Encourage them to add it to their calendars to be ready to apply when it opens, would be my suggestion.
Does the let's see, we have listed here, a president town hall meeting on April 28th. Should we refer to that coming up this year? And if so, what date is that?
I'm pretty sure we are doing town hall meetings, but I don't know if we've got the date. I can check with Danielle about that. And we can include that if that's the case.
Okay.
I've got a meeting with her this afternoon, so I can find out about that this afternoon. And then Sarah, I can send an email to you and Kate with what I find out from her.
Okay.
Be awesome.
And the nomination portal, will that open at the end of April? And is the deadline submission still July 15th?
I think July 15th state is a nice, easy to remember date, so I don't see any reason to change that. It actually falls on a Saturday this year, so I don't see any reason to change it.
Okay.
Well, okay, so this is talking about the nomination portal, which we're not going to have, right? Like, we don't want to call it that because we're not asking them to truly nominate people. Is that what I
Sure.
heard
Yeah.
prior? Okay, so it should be the application portal will
Gotcha.
open.
Yep.
At X time, I think, right?
Yep.
So in that top paragraph that you have at the top of the window, then should we change that to like to encourage to apply instead of to nominate?
Yeah, I think so. Encourage. So that's what I had put in my edit. It's
And if they're, do we want to encourage, like, for them to encourage 1 to 2 members, or do we want them to just share the information with their affiliates?
I think share with everyone. Yeah, like Will said, just encourage them to send to all their contact list in all members of their state affiliate, to make sure everyone gets the word out and can decide whether to apply or not. So when will the application portal open this year?
We have on the action plan launch application late May 2023.
Okay.
So it may be too early.
So should we not send something out till April like last year or March? Well,
We can open up okay, so we could open up the application for the ambassadors earlier if you want to. I don't think there's that many changes that you guys might want made from last year, so I can simply copy the form from last year and make those small changes. So as far as getting it up, I mean, you give me a day or two before you decide you want it up and I can make it happen. But I think that number one, there's no reason not to let it be open because you're still going to have a deadline and then you're going to vote and decide who's going to become an ambassador after that deadline. I think notifying the presidents early and often is a better idea, because we can ask them to put it on, we could make some suggestions in this letter. Please post this to your social media now, once a month leading up to annual session, for instance. Please include it in your newsletter from now until annual session. Please put it up on your website, on your calendar of events or something, a reminder that this is going to be open to national members from this date to this date. Again, I think that might help generate more interest, so that way, but that's up to y'all. If y'all want to create a narrower window where you're like, the application's only open 2 weeks, again, that's up to you guys. So I can do it however y'all want. I mean, you could edit this letter to include those suggestions and the call to action, all that, and just leave blanks, and then we could fill in what we want the dates to be via email, I guess. You guys want to do it that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that we all work better with a shorter window. We could read this and say, oh yeah, I'm interested, and then totally forget about it. Whereas if it's a little shorter time frame, we might actually make a point to do it. I don't know. Everybody's different though.
Okay, well, what I'll do is, after you get back to me with that one piece of information, I'll edit the letter, send it out kind of for a review and go from there. So basically I'll have two letters, one for presidents, one for regional directors right now to send out sooner than later. And then I'll do another one for the entire membership to send out at the end of March, you said, with the new email server. So, okay.
Right. I would recommend sending the one to members, either keeping it late March like it's on the plan, or even into early April.
Okay.
But sometime within that time frame.
Maybe after our next meeting, we can decide as we edit this too.
I think that sounds fine. I don't think there's a huge rush right now to get some of this out. I mean, if we get it on someone's agenda radar to be like, think about it, just back of your brain. I mean, we all know how many of us have to dwell on things and hear them 18 gazillion times before we actually act on them.
Yeah.
Um,
I did also, well, I can share, let me see. I was working on like a PowerPoint that Will could take and do his magic with, as far as the ambassador spotlight, have just fill in the picture that they submit with their application and a quote from their application. And I know you said a presentation to include at the opening session. So I don't know how much of a presentation, but look for the blue armbands and look for the happy people kind of, and then we could, I don't know, this one I had like 4 pictures on a slide, and then we could also, we could do 8 pictures on a slide if we wanted to, or this one I had our ambassador committee too, but I don't know how
Sarah,
much.
are you sharing that?
Oh, are you not seeing it?
No, you need to
Sorry.
stop your first share. That's the fun of a single screen.
Let me. Try again here.
Sorry, everybody. This is Michael. Sorry for being late. My
No
meeting
problem.
was clash.
Oh, how pretty.
I don't know how much we want to include in the opening session as far as the ambassadors. It could be just the look for the blue armbands and the pictures. This is the slide that had 4 pictures. We could add more. This is our committee and it has slots for 8 pictures. So we could do that with everyone too. I don't know if we at the time want to talk about who's the subcommittees, or just have our contact information if they have questions. And then I'll stop sharing, but I took that slide basically and turned it into one that we could put on social media as far as the ambassador spotlight, and just throw in a picture, name, state, and their quote off of their application. So that's just a really rough draft, but if you have any comments, I can continue to work on that over the next few months too.
That looks awesome. Thank you.
Looks great.
Okay. Welcome, Cindy and Michael. Thank you for joining us. So at this point, I don't think we have a whole lot more actually to cover right now. I had sent out a Zoom link for people to sign up for subcommittees. We've had 5 people respond to that, so not huge responses. I will send that out again with the recording from today's meeting. Stacy, do you have anything to share? I mean, ambassador selection, your job kind of comes up at the end.
So I think the one thing to keep including, because we still want to keep only 1 to 2 from each affiliate, right, or state.
It's
So we
kind of a goal as much as we can, but
So just when Sarah was reviewing what she's writing up to send out, just making sure we keep that key point in there. We want them to send it to all of their members, but with the goal of reaching the 1 to 2.
so maybe that gets reworded in a way that perhaps if a state ends up submitting 20 applications, please realize that
Yeah, we'll have to pick.
our goal is that only 1 to 2 per state will be selected. So they don't come back and be like, all these people applied. Well, there's a reason. We're trying to get equality across the country
Fair representation.
as much as possible. Yes.
Well, because we had that last year, I think it was Texas wound up with like 4 or 5 people, 2 of which were, or 3 of which were part of the actual like recommendations that came through the affiliate president or what have you, but then another 2 or 3 applied on their own. And we did accept all of them because we needed all the bodies, but hopefully this year we'll have more to choose from.
Right. So. Okay. At this point, I don't have anything else. There's nothing else on our agenda or our action plan that we have to accomplish right now. The next thing on our action plan isn't actionable until May, which is to actually launch the application. So, at this point, Lisa, I think it's going to be on you to go to the next board meeting and
Oh, yeah.
see
I'll get an email to Julie today to get it added, so.
see what's up with that. And so the next board meeting would be what, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's March, let's see, March 20th.
20th. Okay.
Yep.
So why don't we go ahead and plan that our next Zoom meeting for this group will be then on April 3rd. And we'll have some follow-up then with how the response went from the board. And if there's further communications then with Marcia, with public development or professional development, kind of see where do we need to go with that. And so we would need to figure out on our end which of us, if that becomes a special subgroup, work with them to figure out how to take this on if we move forward with it.
And it might be that ends up in future years being another subcommittee. And it's
It could
just-
be, yeah, very easily. So. Okay, so does anyone have anything else that you would like to put out for the group at this point?
I got a question for Sarah. I know you're doing the email to the presidents and the regional directors. Are we including like a social media post or like a draft email that they can copy and paste and send out?
I mean, I can.
Okay. I'm trying to make it as easy as we possibly can for them to share it. Just a suggestion.
Yep, I can include that.
I'm gonna be doing some Canva work this week for a few things. I was thinking when you guys were talking about the happy people that, you know, of making just a generic, you know, NEAFCS ambassadors, the happy people, you know, with a smiling volunteer, you know, kind of thing. So I'll probably make something like that, and I'll share it with you guys, obviously. And then if you want to use that as part of the, you know, attach it to the email that goes out to the presidents and whatnot, of if you want to make a social media post, you know, here's this, and then here's a little couple of sentences, hashtags, whatever.
Yep.
Be a really good idea.
I tend to, we did that, I know, with the leadership experience, and we had really good with them sharing it because it was easy. All they had to do was copy and paste it over and send it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for the idea.
Yeah, I found that our members tend to react pretty well if you're like, here's the post, here's the picture, here's the actual post, and here's our recommendation. Go ahead and schedule it for every Monday or every Tuesday or 4 times this month. Schedule it now, and then you don't have to worry about it. They seem to really appreciate that.
Awesome. Okay. Then I'd say we are good. I'm not gonna take up any more of your time, give you an extra 20 minutes back in this hour to do other things. More coffee or whatever, early lunch. Okay, if there's nothing else, everybody have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the week. Hopefully you have decent weather.
Thank you.
Will stay away from the pollen.
I can't. It's
I
like
know.
gas outside. You walk outside and this cloud of yellow just.
I know. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
I've seen
No.
pictures.
All right,
It was
everybody.
great seeing everybody.
See ya.
Kate, I'll get you this recording. I'll get it uploaded to YouTube and send you over the link as soon